What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far today. Getting into this episode of Beyond the Gates. This was a damn good episode. Like, this shit had me on the edge of my seat. Things are coming to a head at this point. Smitty, he done. Smitty is finally fed up. He ended up tracking down Kenneth at the park and wanting to know what the hell going on. And Kenneth basically just told him, well, your husband being blackmailed, and you need to ask him what's going on because he's the bad guy in this story. Smitty has had enough. Like, he got home, told the kids, like, listen, I'll talk to y'all, I'll tell y'all the little that I know, and we can go from there. Because Samantha was bringing Tyrell up to speed about what happened at the park with Martin and Kenneth and stuff. And Smitty confirmed to Tyrell that, Kenny was only using him to get to Martin. This is why these kids need street smarts, because they are a high profile family and they need to stop letting randoms be in their space, especially their home. And I felt like Martin should have, not Martin, but Tyrell should have been, punished for that foolishness. You know what I mean? Like, he definitely should have been on punishment for that, because you don't just invite grown ass strangers into your home. No, just because you play chess with them online or something like that, so what? You don't know them. You don't just bring people into your house like that. That's crazy as hell. Smitty basically was as open and honest with the kids as he could be. He was like, listen, we've been arguing, we've been having issues. Samantha feel like, well, that's normal in a marriage. Yeah, it is normal to argue, but it's deeper than that. Smitty can't continue with Martin's lies because he feels like Martin's lies put their family in jeopardy when he should have just told them what the hell was going on, which is true. He should have. So that way they could have been more on alert. They could have supported him. They could have rallied around him. Instead, he put them in more jeopardy. Smitty just couldn't take it no more. That man went upstairs, packed up a suitcase. Like, he got both of Martin's suitcases, brought them down. He's dead serious. He was like, he putting them out. He need a separation at this point. He's putting Martin out. The kids pretty much don't believe that Smitty's gonna go through with it. I'm like, I beg to differ on that. And Samantha wants Smitty to allow Martin to come home so he can explain himself. But Smitty was like, nope, I don't even want to hear it. At this point, Smitty said, nope. Because Smitty, I think, feels like even if he gives Martin that opportunity, Martin probably gonna lie again. And not only that, I don't blame Smitty for not wanting to hear the story at this point. I don't blame him. Even if Martin were to come home and tell him the truth, I don't blame him for not wanting to hear it, because how many opportunities has he given Martin to tell the truth? Too many. And Martin has lied every single time or got out of talking about it. Smitty's fed up. He's done. And I don't blame him. And I hope he sticks to it. So anyway, moving on from that. Danny is just trying to figure out what to do with this modeling agency or whatever. Like, she trying to talk to Vanessa, find some locations, office space and all that type of stuff. But she don't really know if she wants to get back into modeling and stuff for this agency, because she feel like she too old. She don't want to tarnish her legacy that she spent years to build, which I totally understand. But I agree with Vanessa. Like, this could be a golden opportunity for her. This is for her. This is her opportunity to usher in a whole new generation of models and show the older models, like, yo, you could still do this. Like, you could be in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s and still rock the runway. You know what I'm saying? It's to give a confidence boost to these older models while boosting up the next generation. It's a win-win for everybody. I totally agree with Vanessa. Like, she got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because Danny needs something to focus on other than what the hell's going on in her love life. She need to shift her focus onto something more positive. And I think this agency can be the one. I feel like Pamela has been putting in a lot of work trying to get this thing off the ground, and Danny has been subpar when it comes to putting in that work. Like, you got to step up and do your share. You know what I'm saying? To get this thing off the ground if y'all want it to be a success. So I'm glad she had Vanessa there to kind of wrangle her in and let her know, like, you gonna rock this. You gonna kill it. Because Danny needs her self-confidence boosted. Like, you got this. Because Danny fine as shit. She could rock a runway at her age, at any age. She could still rock it. she could be 60 and still rock the house. You know what I'm saying? She should let Anita be her, encouragement. Like, look at Anita. Anita, for a while, didn't think she could make a music comeback, but at least she tried. Even though her team, her bandmates are shifty, she still tried to make it work. And she could still sing, she could still dance, she could still do all of that. You know what I mean? So if she could do that at her age, Danny can still do it. Like, get up off your butt and do it. So anyway, moving on from that. So Jacob and Naomi are having this conversation about what's going on with her family and Martin and stuff like that. At first, Jacob didn't think he should be telling her all of this, but I'm actually glad he is, because technically it's not breaking any confidences or anything like that, because this is not even an official case. Like, him and Smitty are working on this off the record, basically, at this point. So he can talk to Naomi about it. But also, I feel like he's doing the right thing by telling her what's going on, and that, things are coming to a head and it's going to get ugly and it's not looking too good, and that her cousin is in over his head. I'm glad he's talking to her about it, because I feel like if this were to come out later and he didn't bring this up to her, I feel like it would have repercussions for their marriage. Because not only was Smitty and Martin marriage being a rock tail, him and Naomi's would be too. Because we saw how, it went down between them when he arrested her mother. And she gave him the cold shoulder and made him sleep on the sofa. Imagine what she would do this time around if all this mess going on with her family and he didn't say nothing. Please. The hell with a sofa. He'd be packed up and out that house. Speaking of the house, I want to see the rest of the house. I really do. I want to see the rest of Jacob and Naomi house, because we always see the bedroom. I want to see like what their living room and stuff look like. But I'm glad he could talk to her about this, because he need to vent to somebody other than Smitty about it. His wife is the next best thing, because she always thought that the Richardsons was, the better part of her family, the less drama, you know what I'm saying, compared to the other members of her family. So to find out all this mess is going on with them, I know it rocks her. But she's also preoccupied with this June nonsense. Like, she trying to figure out what's going on with homegirl. And when she called that number, the person hung up. So, Jacob encouraged her. He was like, keep calling. Call that number again. Try to, keep digging till you find out who that person is and who June is. What's her background? What's her past? So she called the number. The person, hung up again. Called it again. And this time the person was like, oh, don't call here again. My sister dead to me. I said, oh, sister. Oh, June has a sibling. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I would track that number. I would trace that number and find out who number that belongs to. That's what I would do if I was Naomi, if you really want to find out who homegirl is, like what her past is. Because there's definitely a story there. And I'm interested in finding out about June past, because I know it relates to somebody on the canvas. I know a lot of people have been saying she could be related to Haley. A lot of us believe that she's the biological mother of Martin and Smitty's kids. It's a lot of theories floating around out there. So I'm very intrigued to find out, like, how does she connect to the canvas? Who is this girl? Like, who's this lady? And I'm glad that they got Jasmine Burke playing a role of June, because Jasmine Burke, she's something serious in the industry. Let me tell you, I feel like she's a very underrated actress, very slept on, but she's very good. She's damn good, and I'm glad they got her to play this role, because she's playing it. I hope once everything's settled down, though, Naomi and Jacob can have some sexy time. They need it. Like, as a married couple, they gonna need it. They gonna need some me time after all this drama come out. So anyway, moving on from that, Bill, Vernon, Joey, Marcel, they are all pissed off because this fool Martin wants to sit here and hold a press conference at Orphe Jeans. He was going to go public about what happened. I'm like, you dumbass fool. Are you crazy? Vernon was not thrilled about that, and I don't blame him. Neither was Bill. Bill tried to play the encouraging role, like, oh, I got your back. He said, and if this, when you go public with this, if you need a defense attorney, I'm going to help you. Bill, if this shit goes public, you're the one that's going to need a defense attorney just as much as he is. You're going to be charged too. That's why Vernon and Joey don't want him to go public. Because it's not just about protecting his family and telling the family the truth and telling the public, his constituents, the truth. This will have ramifications for all of them, because all of their names are going to get dragged. Every last one of them. You can't talk about this and tell the whole story without bringing their names up. And you know Joey not having it. Joey like, listen, let me go down to that damn diner. Joey wasn't having it. Joey like, my name ain't about to be dragged up in this shit. You better get him under control. And you know Vernon, please, Vernon too old to be sitting up in somebody's jail now. That man almost 80. You can't be having him sitting up in nobody's prison house. So he was trying to, talk Martin out of this and whatnot. But Martin felt he gotta do what he gotta do. So Marcel, he was looking for Kenny or whatever, ended up finding him. Because Kenny popped up at the door. Bill was smart though. Bill stepped up to the podium and was trying to buy some time or whatever, by telling this little story and stuff, trying to, save some time or whatever. Until they saw Marcel at the door, because Marcel got Kenny. And he took care of Kenny or whatever. I was like, I hope Marcel didn't pop that man in public. Like, I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't. I hope he discarded that body. Let me tell you something. Kenneth had to be dealt with. In my opinion, I feel like he had to be dealt with. Also, with him being dead, I feel like this is far from over. Because we don't know who Kenneth told about this. We don't know who else on his side knows about this. So I feel like this still can come back and bite all of them. They probably think that with him being dead now, oh, this is the end. No, because you don't know who he told. You don't know his other family members. And I'm pretty sure once they find out he gone, they gonna come out the woodwork next. So he ended up whispering in Martin's ear, letting him know that, it's taken care of and showing him the photo. And Martin just looked like he was going through so many emotions. Like everything was just drained out of him. And the reporters were confused. Like, what the fuck were we called here for? But they had to tell them, like, listen, it was a family emergency. We cool. It's just, y'all could go. But I can't wait to see Martin's face when he get home and see them bags at the door. And he see Smitty done put that ass out. As he should. Because Martin doing too much. Like, he had all the time in the world to tell his husband the truth. And he done sat there and didn't tell shit. Vanessa ended up showing up to the diner. She showed up or whatever because Joey called her to meet there or whatever. Because Vernon was shocked that Vanessa would even do any business with somebody like Joey. But Joey wanted her there because the reporters and everybody was there. So he needed a little alibi, like a reason to be there or whatever. Other than food, because there ain't no food because the staff was sent home for the press conference. So he needed a reason to be there that looked legit. So of course he needed Vanessa to be his beard. And she just is happy to do it. But this whole episode was good, but it's going to get even messier. I feel like this is far from over. It's just beginning. But hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought. And I will see you all later. Have a great day. Peace.